Hello and welcome back to the Only Fools Love Horses YouTube channel, and it really is a welcome back this time. We haven't been on your screens since Cheltenham. Our Cheltenham preview went very well, so thank you very much to everyone who tuned in that night. Thank you very much to Jack Dawley and all the guests we had on that night as well. And thank you very much for supporting the channel in the run-up to the Cheltenham Festival. Really, really big numbers on the series. So we hope you found some winners. We hope you enjoyed yourself. And we are back after a nice little siesta, some would say. But we're heading into the big one now, the Grand National, 3 days of excellence. Really is a fantastic meeting, culminating in a fantastic race. And the lads are back. Grand National. Gentlemen, Lee, it's a good race, a good meeting, I think. You get 4 Grade 1s in the first 4 races of the week. You're looking forward to it. How's your break been since Cheltenham?
Yeah, it's been good, Ash. Trying to transition into the flat there. It's not easy. Starts a bit early, and then you still got Aintree, Punchestown, Sandown final day and stuff. But yeah, looking forward to it. Thursday looks a great card, and it's just what can back up from Cheltenham, I would have said. Plenty of good horses, but what's taken out of them, from coming from Cheltenham, what's fresh, and if the yard's in form as well. Some of them have been under the weather, let's say.
Yeah, CC, Nicky Henderson there. Harry, break from Cheltenham, Grand National rolling in, 3 days, proper racing, and then we're getting really stuck into the flat stuff. So it is an exciting time going forward now, some sort of all-to-all action coming up.
It is. It's been a pretty crazy week, I should say, for everyone in horse racing. We've had so much stuff going on. It's been good to have a little break. It'd be good to say I haven't missed the videos, because I have, but it's always good to take a break. And look, we're back for 3 days that I absolutely love, and that Thursday card is up there with, if you put that at Cheltenham, no one would bat an eyelid. It's a brilliant card, and I'm really looking forward to it. So let's get stuck in.
Yeah, it should be very, very good. And we've got an interview in this video as well. Very quick catch up with Cam Sword, obviously of the Ramblers, Corach Rambler. We'll slot that into the video just before we preview the Grand National later on. But 3 days, and we're going to kick off with the Grade 1 Manifesto Novices Chase on the Thursday. It's a good race, lads, with 5 runners. Grey Dawning topping the market, even money for the Skelton runner. Ginny's Destiny filled the runners-up spot behind Grey Dawning in the Turners, 7-2. Ilete Tomp stepping up in trip 4s. Blow Your Wad, 11-1. And Colonel Harry, 28s. Lee, let's go for it then. What do you fancy in the Manifesto?
Look, there's a few shorties on the Thursday, and I think Grey Dawning will take a world of beating. I think would have beaten Ginny's Destiny when they met a few runs back. Grey Dawning kind of bounced on the second last and just got denied. Showed his worth in the Turners there, beat them fair and square. They pulled the front three pulled a long way clear, and they had the race sewn up, before the bend. And look, Grey Dawning stayed on well. He handled soft conditions. He bolted up at Warwick on soft, and he ran in the Grade 1 last season over hurdles, but fell in the race that Appleway won. And I just think a very classy horse, and proved that in the Turner. So I think you take a lot of beating. Ilile Thompson is in here, but not a horse that I've kind of warmed to. Won the Grade 1, but I think that was Danny Mullins kind of was on fire that day at the DRF, and he galvanised to win. And I just thought it was disappointing last time in the Arkle, and I think that the form will be shown here, and I think Grey Dawning will frank the form with Ginny's Destiny.
Yeah, I agree. I had Imagine penciled in for Harry Durham for this race, but they haven't declared the horse. 5 runners. Don't see a reason why the form will be reversed between Grey Dawning and Ginny's Destiny. And then from there, Blow Your Wad wants to go right-handed. Colonel Harry, not too sure. And Ilete Thompson, I agree with you on that one. So
I think these Harrys are a bit dodgy, aren't they? So he'll not be winning.
I'm not a huge fan of them, to be honest. Mr. Beard, what do you fancy in this?
Oh, perfect way to bring me in. Seamless as always. Look, Grey Dawn and Ingenie's Destiny, they dominated the turners from a long, long way out. I mean, Harry Skelton stalked Ginny's Destiny the whole way around, took it up. And it was actually interesting. If you actually watch the race, they were trapping nearly 40 mile an hour coming down the hill. I mean, they were going a right old clip, and they didn't get tired, and Grey Dawn and kept going and going and startled at the front. Now, I think they both had they must have had extremely hard races from that. And I just think Ilate Thomas is being a little bit overlooked. I'm not saying by any means that this horse is going to go on and win by a street. But his jumping wasn't all too great in the Arkle, and yet he only finished a 4 lengths behind Founder 50, who I think is a really, really good horse. And many people have franked the form with obviously Gaelic Warrior. He actually is only finished behind Gaelic Warrior when he was second, when obviously Danny and Patrick were fighting after the line. And he's finished behind Fan 15 Gaelic Warrior in the Arkle. So I don't think the trip will be an issue. I think he's a very classy horse. I just think he's being a little bit overlooked. And I did have a look. He's around 6-4 without Grey Dawn, and I think that it's a very good price. But it's a race that I think Grey Dawn is a little bit too skinny. I can't see Ginny's Destiny winning, and I think the other two need a mountains climb to feature anywhere near.
Yeah, I kind of agree with your assessment there. I'd say Grey Dawn is most likely winner in my eyes, but he's taking up 50% of the market on his sort of actual odds, and maybe it's just a touch too skinny. I could maybe be swarmed into Ilate Thomas, getting close to the time, and maybe we'll have a look at the prices before the offer, maybe. But yeah, look, it's a good race, and surely we'll see a good horse in it. The 4-year-old Juvenile Hurdle.
Well, you've got me down as Grey Dawn. You've got me down as Grey Dawning on that one. So it's like you need to switch up here. You need to switch up, because I did not put Grey Dawning up at evens. But no,
technical errors. Technical errors. Sorry, it's just it's. I'll get onto the team about that and make sure that's fixed for next time. The 4-year-old Hurdle. It could be a nice clash here. Sergino 10-11 topping the market. Cargis 7-2 for Willie Mullins, Paul Townend, Cleef de Burley 5s, Nürburgring 10s, Intello 14-1s, and Dirty Den completes the field 150-1. Harry, I'll make it up to you. I'll come back to you. Do you fancy one in this? Shall I put you down for a runner in this? What do you fancy?
Well, listen, if you can find me Sergino Evans, then I'll be your friend for eternal life, let's say. Look, Sergino, he jumped so much better at Cheltenham last time than he did it first time out at Kempton, which is understandable because it was his first time over hurdles. And these are juveniles. I mean, they're learning on the job. We saw it so many times. He's a beast of a horse. I expect him to win this. Keep it short and sweet. I can't see anything getting involved.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Lee, do you have the same assessment?
Yeah, look, same for me, short and sweet. I think Sergino will win. I think, look, he's won on heavy ground when in France. He's had them runs. There was nothing wrong with him. It just Nicky didn't want to take the risk and run him in the Triumph when the form of the yard wasn't great. So, look, there was nothing wrong with Sergino. The reports are he's been working well. I think he'd be best in here. The mare Cargis, she gets the weight. She won the Grade 1 at the Dublin Racing Festival. She come there travelling well in the Triumph. She stopped very quickly for me and was put away fair and square by the winner. They did put a long way clear, but just maybe one too many drinks at the well for me for Cargis, and I can't see much behind getting involved. So Sergino will take the beating for me.
Yeah, that's look, if he's on song, it's gonna be very tough to beat him. I will be taking him on with Cargis. I thought she was very admirable in the Triumph. I thought she ran a good race, and she looks like coming into the bench, she looks like the winner all over, doesn't she? I can see the sort of she got beat at the line kind of thing, but she was beaten by a much better stayer, I'd say. Heavy ground, Triumph always. You need a stayer to win that. And she's run a good race, so she's only been beaten a length and a half in the end. She's been beaten by a proper stayer who's a big galloper, big legs on him. He's a big framey horse, and probably just been beaten by the stronger horse on the day. But like you said, pulled a mile clear of the field, good 4 and a bit lengths away from Salva, and then a good 7 lengths away from Nürburgring. if she's turned around well, and it looks like Willie Mullins might be having an outside shout for the British Trainers Championship, I think she could be going quite well here. So I'll give Cargies a chance, 7-2. I think could be a fair enough price about her, just to see how she goes. And look, she'll like conditions anyway. You can tell that she'll appreciate the ground. So Cargies for me, but we'll see how things go. The Aintree Bowl is the next race to be looking at, and again, this is an absolute belter of a race, isn't it? You got some proper horses in here. Shame we won't be seeing a couple. So we won't be seeing Galopin de Chance to make it sort of a rematch from the Gold Cup, but it's Jerry Colombe topping the market 13-8, Shishkin 3-1, Corbett's Cross stepping up 4-1 from the novice stages up to the Open Company, Brave Man's Game 10s, Hoy Senor 12s, and bigger about the rest. Lee, fire over to you. What do you fancy? I don't even need to ask the question, what do you fancy? Because I know what you fancy. You're the CEO of the fan club.
Jerry. Yeah, look, I love Jerry Colombe, as everyone knows. And I think, look, he backed it up last season when coming from just being beat in the Brown Advisory there behind the Real Wacker, and then was able to come here and probably be most impressive in any of his runs. I would have said it was a grade 1. There was nothing in behind, but he looked like he jumped in at the last. And if he can get over them Gold Cup exertions, I think he'll have, the legs of a Shishkin. Shishkin's very talented, but what day is he getting out of bed, sort of thing. And Jerry Colombe's got a couple of years on Shishkin, so I just think Jerry Colombe in these conditions, he'd be tough to beat. Corbett's Cross coming here. I don't think I'll ever forgive the horse, because I did actually back him for the Brown Advisory. I ended up backing him on the day, but I needed him for a good bet on the Tuesday at Cheltenham. And yes, long story short, I don't know if I'll ever forgive the horse, to be honest. But look, he's definitely a graded performer. He looked like he had just jumped in as well in that National Hunt Chase and scooted away up to the line. So I'd rather probably take him than Shishkin, but I think this is Jerry's to lose.
Yeah, for the first time, I think, in my life, I'm backing Jerry Colombe. Jerry. Like Harry, he's going to make the case for Shishkin. I can see the case for him, but I am just a touch wary about the Henderson runners this week. Look, this could be changed by the time we see one of them out on track, by the time we see Sergino out on track, but I am just wary at this stage. I think Jerry Colombe, like 13-8, is probably just quite a nice price by him. He'll like the ground, for sure. He'll stay. And Tortes and Burbs had quite a quiet season. He's only had the 3 runs. He had that big break from Christmas coming into the Gold Cup. Yeah. You'd hope he's just sort of like, fresh enough, like you hope he'll be fine. And I think that's a fair enough price by him. Corbett's Cross, like he jumped in, like he looked like he just joined in the National Hunt Chase, but at the same time, they've not gone a gallop at all in that National Hunt Chase. They've got an absolute crawl, and that's probably why it looks like he's just jumped in. They're clocking like 22, 23 mile an hour kind of stuff, which is slow even for soft ground kind of thing. And then he's just scooted away. Like I thought it was impressive on the eye, but it's like to see him back it up, really. And that's my main case behind not backing him. Jerry Colombe for me. But Harry, you might have a small opposing view here.
Yeah, look, Shishkin for me. I love this horse. He was very impressive last year. It took him nearly 3 miles to get going. And then as soon as he saw a Hoy Senor, he kind of clicked into gear, didn't he, really? The only worry I would have with Shishkin is Nico de Boinville's comments after Newbury. Now, that was heavy ground. And Nico de Boinville said this horse is just better on the better surfaces where you can really get at him for the fences. It's going to be like that for all of them, though. Some horses love heavy ground and they can jump perfectly through it. I think Shishkin is a good jumper, but I just think, when he's just he just does his own thing and he pops it, I think that's when he can get a little bit lazy. Now, Corbett's Cross, I was stood next to Emmett Mullins. I was down on Green Cam for the Jockey Club during Cheltenham, and Emmett Mullins was like, he couldn't really watch. But then as soon as he jumped the last, it was like, this is a seriously good horse.
I bet he was watching after the last.
No, yeah, well, it's pretty easy to watch when you're 10 lengths in front, isn't it? Jumping the last at Cheltenham. He was a grade 1 horse, pretty much. It looked so easy for him, and he deserves to take his chance. I think 4-1 for a novice against a Gold Cup second, and a well-fancied Gold Cup runner before the Henderson Yard were riddled with illness. I think it's a little bit skinny, but I think he's a big danger. But Shushkin at 3-1 is mine. I see, Lee, you've got your hand up.
I just think if Factor Fail wasn't in the Brown advisory, Corbett's Cross would have went there. I think he still would have took a lot of beating, and that's the fancier race. People almost think, oh, he's won a National Hunt Chase, and it's the longer trip and all this, and that they couldn't, maybe he's mix it up with these types. But if he had won the Brown advisory, well like that as well, people might have thought different of him. So, yeah, I think he'd be not overlooked, but he's definitely worth his place at least.
Yeah, for sure. No, it's a crack of a race, I think. You got some proper horse in there, and sort of some clashes that you maybe haven't seen as such, and I think it should be really, really good. The final race, gentlemen, on the day one anyway, is the Grade 1 Aintree Hurdle, and again, no Constitution Hill in this race, so it is a sad side, but I suppose it makes it an easier betting contest. Bob Ollinger 6-4 top in the market, and Perry Pass 2-1. First run for him since his second to Stateman at the Dublin Racing Festival. So third to Stateman at the Dublin Racing Festival. Langer Dan's declared here. My word, if this horse wins the Aintree Hurdle, oh my God. 10-1, Lucia 10s, Marie's Rock 14s, the Mean Lion 14s, Beacon Edge 66s, and Mahon's Glory a big 100-1 for Patrick Neville. Harry, I'm going to come to you first of all for the Aintree Hurdle. What do you think about this race?
Tough. I think it's tough. I think Bob Ollinger at 6-4. I think tough is the only way to put it, because Bob Ollinger is just not a horse you can trust. You could not, if you were to have one horse to run for you, to run well for your life, Bob Ollinger would probably be the last horse that you'd choose
that
for.
Harsh. That
you just
can't
trust him.
Harry.
Well, you just can't trust him. I personally can't trust him. The same with Imperi Pass. Wow.
Yeah,
I wouldn't trust any horse in my life personally, Lee, to be fair. But look, Imperi Pass is the one I'd side with narrowly, just at the odds as well. I think 6-4, 2-1. I think Imperi Pass, you could side with that. Imperi Pass, where they went front running with him last time, when Bob Ollinger obviously finished in front of him. Like, it was just a disaster from flag 4, wasn't it? I mean, if you watch the race, it was never going to end well. I expect Imperi Pass to be almost Ballymore-esque ridden, exactly how he was in the Ballymore. Sit behind Bob Ollinger or sit next to him and just best also win. I think the others will set it up for him. Langadan, well, is he going to go from the front, or is he just is it the road to Cheltenham for him starting in April again? Who knows? But Imperi Pass is the one that I'd be signing with just narrowly.
I believe I'm on the other side of the fence. I like Bob Ollinger in this. And I've been actively against Bob Ollinger throughout his career. Like I said, that his win in the Ballymore, the form you can crab, because the way it was over 2.5 miles, and he beat a national third in the Brave Man's Game, and then I've crabbed him. And then like last season was just a write-off completely for him. Nothing really right with him. And then this season he's come back a bit of a different horse, I think. I thought his win at Cheltenham was just really striking his win at Cheltenham. And then he's gone and finished second to Stateman over in the Irish Champion Hurdle. I think both were really, really good runs. And I just think he could be I think he could be better than Imperi Pass here. I really do. I think there's not much in here that I'd maybe be too scared about apart from the top two. Like I can maybe see the case for Lucia, that third in the Champion Hurdle, but just like on pedigree as such, she's got a really good ground pedigree, and she has performed well on soft ground. Even that Champion Hurdle was on heavy ground, but at the same time, like Cheltenham heavy is a bit different to other heavy, and like maybe she just doesn't want it as bottomless. But I could be proved wrong by that on Thursday. But I'd be willing to let her run at a price. But Bob Ollinger for me is the way I play it. Lee, yourself, how do you see the race coming into this?
So for your two selections, lads, I think Imperi Pass, he led the last time in down tools, I would have said, from going from the front. I think he'll have to be ridden more conservatively with Paul Townend on, and he'll come there the same as Bob, though. He almost, kind of wavered on the running at Cheltenham the last day when he hit the front, and I think he needs to almost stalk as well and then be played late. And the two of them have a good kick, and I think if something can get them off the bit and lead from the front, it might be hard to pass. And look, maybe it's even chance of the Mean Lion each way, and hopefully they ride him, a bit differently and try and take the sting out of them too. They've both got the quirks in them. I couldn't see an angle in, to be totally honest. If Irish Point had went to, I would have backed him. He's not in the race, but look, I find it tough. I'd probably take a couple of quid on Lucia and a couple of quid each way on maybe Enemy and Lion, and hope the front two falter, but not really a massive betting heat for me, I would have said.
That's fair enough. 2 each ways for Lee and 2 at the top of the market for me and Harry, taking each other on. See what we can do with this. Moving on to the Friday Gentlemen, the Grade 1 Mildmay Novices Chase. Interesting race this. You've got the Chianti Classico angle coming into. You've got a couple of the handicappers stepping up, and you've got a couple of the sort of established grade horses in this division over the trip. But I know the way you're thinking, topping the market 9-4, having won the Kimure so impressively. Chianti Classico 10-3. Iroko got a run under his belt now from the Turners. He's 7-2. Broadway Boy is 7-1. Giovinco 8-1, and double figure prices about the rest of them. Lee, if you don't have a fancy as such in the last race, you have one in this. So what do you fancy?
I'll chance it on Iroko, just being a classy individual and can step forward from that Turner's run. Hopefully Great Dawning goes and franks the form. I was looking back in France on its first run, was second to the Irish national winner, Intense Raffles. And there's plenty of form lines in behind. Bolted up on softer conditions in hurdles runs, staying on strongly in the Martin Pipe, and then bolted up first time chasing at Warwick. Kilbeg King was in there, who's ran third in a quarter star and performed fair enough the last day. But I just think last time out was outpaced, and I think the step up and trip will really suit Iroko, and I'm going to chance that one. I think still a fair price as well. I know the way you're thinking. It's definitely a graded horse in a handicap the last day. Definitely revealed his mask there. Absolutely bolted in, but they had the likes of Corbett's Cross. They have a factor fails and stuff. They had to split the pack, and he was so well handicapped, wasn't he? But yeah, look, I'm just going to take the chance on the other JP horse, and I think Iroko is a very classy horse, and now that he's got that extra run behind him, hopefully the step up and triple will see him to good effect. So yeah, Iroko for me.
Yeah, you can see the case for Iroko for sure. See the case for a lot on the top of the market, like two stepping up from handicaps. One that's sort of not being a handicapper as such, but he's a really impressive horse in Iroko, and he's now got that run under his belt. Broadway Boy, they were purring about him before Cheltenham, and then he was it a bad scope, and then he just couldn't go to the race. Even Giovinco on that Brown advisory form, he must have a chance. Like,
he ran a great race, didn't he? Giovinco ran a.
Yeah, he come there swinging. He come there absolutely swinging as well, didn't he? It's crazy.
Lucinda's got a great record at this track as well. You have to remember how much she kind of targets this, and I know they did chuck him in the deep end there, but like you say, lads, he maybe be the overlooked one even.
Potentially, yeah. Like, it's some really interesting horse in this. I'm going to take a swing, and this could be wrong in me taking this swing. But I kind of like American Mike to outrun his odds. I think he's got a good chance. Like, he's on the start of the season form. I know Factor File probably need the run, but like, he beat Factor File with a really good jump at the last, I thought, at Navan in that beginner's chase, and did it quite nicely. Then he was disappointing over 2.5 behind Gaelic Warrior, but he probably just needs to step up and trip. He's then won at Navan, and again, he idled in front a little bit, but once Nick Rocket came to him, he just went away, and he was very, very good. Disappointing at Cheltenham, like really disappointing, but maybe I think Cheltenham was a little bit of a like a last minute decision as such, like it was a case of they were going to go maybe to the Irish national, and they've come here, supplemented him. Why not chuck him in? I just think that American Mike is a good horse, and 20-1 is a massive price to find out what he's like, based on that Factor File form as well. So like 20-1, give him a chance, and just each way, we'll see how he goes. Harry, not too much an opinion on this race for you?
Not for me, Ash, I'm afraid.
Thank you very much. Makes it nice and quick and simple there. Just when Harry doesn't have one, we all save money, don't we? I'm
look, at the end of the day, look, if you don't have if I didn't have a selection, there's no point me rambling on and saying, come and back this, back that. It's one of those races. I find it so hard, and it's just Honestly,
1-0.
I am not buying.
1-0.
I'm supposed to be one dishing out the nibbles.
1-0, 1-0. The Grade 1 top novices hurdle. We'll move on to that race. Again, like, you know, with all these races at Aintree, there are clashes. There's a lack of maybe odds on fabs that you can make cases for a lot of these. Mystical Power and Slade Steel 11-4 about the pair for the Supreme 1-2. Firefox 9-2, Dysart Enos 5-1. Bryce Daly's ahead still there, but she's going to go to the 2.5 miler. Coldwell Potter the same. Atlantique, don't know what's happening to him. So bigger about the rest. Harry, I'm going to come to you first of all. If you were quiet for the last one, what do you fancy for this?
Firefox for me, Ash. I really like this horse, and obviously came third in the Supreme. I thought the run of Asian Master was a big one in fourth, but both of those two got quite badly hampered, I'd say, coming round the bend. And Slade Steel, well, I was stood next to the Geordie that's on the left of the screen. He was going absolutely Barney as Rachel jumped the last. And look, Mystical Power jumped to the last and simply got outstayed up the hill. I'd probably say Mystical Power is definitely the speedier horse, but if the going's any worse than soft, which is likely to be given the rain that we've had, I can't see the placings being reversed. But I just think Firefox is the unexposed one in this, and is the one being severely overlooked. I think he's a very good horse. You can disregard the Nace run. It was almost too bad to be true, wasn't it? I thought he showed his true colours after they jumped the last, and he powered all the way up the line, and he was only closing on Mystical Power at the line. So I think Firefox is probably one of Gordon's best bullets to fire this year at Aintree. Yeah,
can see the angle there. Lee, agreement or going elsewhere?
Agreement. I think if you actually watch that race back, and if you says, look, he was beaten fair and square, but if you watch on the home turn and you also watch to the last and into the line, he was trapped in behind. He didn't get the cleanest run. He had to weave his way through. The other two have kicked for home. He's staying on best. He come in with an interrupted prep. He was actually lame, I believe, in that Lawlers of Nace. So he had the excuse of that run. And he has in his back pocket the beating of Ballyburn, which, look, take it how you want. Look, it's first run for Ballyburn, and maybe he's got first run, whatever you want to say, right? But at the end of the day, that horse looks a superstar, and he has a beating of him already this season, and it's just one I can't get away from. And I think if you look at that Supreme, the front two, they had a smooth sailing, whereas he come in there after a lame run and stuff like that. So look, I'm willing to forgive him, and I think Firefox is the one to beat him and turn the form around.
Yeah, get the klaxon ready. This could be the one and only agreement between the three of us on the race. Firefox and me, same reasoning, really. He's got that win over Ballyburn in the back pocket, as you said, got stopped in the Supreme. He was staying on the same pace as the front two were. And he's come from sort of behind, like he's come from level of Mystical Power, but Mystical Power's sort of gone sort of outside to middle, whereas Firefox has gone at that inside, and Firefox has just been stopped. Now, you don't know how many lengths that cost him, but at the same time, like, you can see Jack Kennedy's taking a real sort of harsh pull, sort of trying to find where the gap is. And they were really sort of quite bullish on him coming to the festival, and maybe just didn't work out for them. But he'll like the ground. He should do anyway. Like, he has a pedigree which suggests maybe good ground might see him a bit better, and he won a bumper on good to yielding, but at the same time he's won on soft ground. He beat Ballyburn on soft ground. I see the ground being no issue to him. So I'd fancy Firefox here as well. Get the klaxon out. The three of us fancy one in the top novice hurdle, the Melling Chase, gentlemen, and this is where we get to see the return of John Bon, obviously after the Clarence House mishap as such, but he is here 9-4, topping the market. Protectorat in there at 3-1. Pick Dorhey, this has been the plan for a while, 10-3. Envoy Allen's entered 7-1. Bambridge entered 12-1, but will he run or not? Jungle Boogie, no. 14s. He probably won't run, to be fair. Bigger prices about the rest. Lee, what do you fancy in this?
Simple for me, John Bon. I think he'll take a lot of beating. I think he's coming in there fresh. If you know Nicky's in good form, like you mentioned before, if he's had a couple of winners, I think this will go off a lot shorter. Last season, he won the Celebration Chase. He's got form on soft. He's actually won a race on heavy. He won the Tingle Creek. He's beaten Captain Guinness before as well, and that horse has won a champion chase this season. I know the race fell apart, but at the end of the day, look, that's how the forms went, and he's got plenty of form in there. And the last day, he just he absolutely mullered the fence. He bounced on top of it, and he still managed to go down by only a neck in a Grade 1. It wasn't the strongest of Grade 1s. This was the rear range Clarence House, but to do that, I thought it must have taken some, mentality to get it back up like that. So I think he's just the classiest in there. They always talked about the step up and trip, and I think this is it'll suit him. He did win here as well. He's won here twice before, so he's going for 3 course wins. I know he beat El Fabiolo in a Grade 1 over hurdles, and he won an egg and spoon basically Grade 1 in chase in his novice campaign. But he can only do what he can do, and at the end of the day, I think he's classiest in here. So John Bond to win.
Yeah, agreement with you there. Just think John Bond could be the best here, and dare I say 9-4 is a bit of a big price about him.
I agree.
I think it could be. It's probably a fair price if the Henderson form isn't right. But again, I think if the Henderson form's not right, I don't know how many horses he'll be running. But if the Henderson form's there, then he could be going off sort of 6-4. We don't know this at the time of this recording. So would you be willing to take 9-4 now? I think I would be willing to take 9-4 at this stage just to see how things go, because I just think he could be best horse here. Harry, John Bond for you. I know you've been a massive John Bond fan in the past, so is it 3 from 3?
It makes me feel sick. Look, as bad as it was that El Fabiolo tipped up, it's just like I've been harping on the John Bond drum, and that was his chance. That was his chance. If only the Nicky stable wasn't riddled with a virus. Like, it's just like, oh. As Lee, you mentioned, they've always talked about this horse going up in trip. Even after Cheltenham last year, the plan was to go up in trip. It was just, like Lee, you just said, they found an egg and spoon race, which is probably the worst Grade 1 you will ever see in your life. And he won by 43 lengths, all right, albeit Calico, I think it was, that tipped up at the last. But look, it's one of those. I think Protectorate is... Now that the rain's coming down, I thought he was very good in the Ryanair. What did he beat? I think he beat absolutely jack shit, because I think Envoy LN is coming to his peak. Well, the end of his peak now, isn't he? And I just think, looking back at it, is kind of Protectorate is still. He was finished 3rd in a Gold Cup, wasn't he? I think last year or something, and this year he's obviously won the Ryanair. But John Bond 9-4. There, I say it. That's 2 races in a row that we've agreed on. I think John Bond at 9-4 is a cracking price. I mean, get stuck in. If he gets beat by Pic D'Orhy, I mean, the game's gone. The game is gone.
No, I won't. If there's one thing I won't accept in this game, Pic D'Orhy slander is the most unjust thing in the world. That horse is good, and I do feel almost it's awful for me, really. I feel sick taking on Pic D'Orhy, but I just do think John Bond might be just a little bit better. But look, if Pic D'Orhy wins, there won't be a bigger smile in the racing world than mine, because I love that horse, and I do wish connections.
If you've done your conkers on John Bond at 9-4 and Pic D'Orhy wins, I guarantee you will not be happy.
You can always smile. Look, it's the great game. You can always smile. It's just you don't. There's no game like it. When you've done your conkers on one, and it's just there's another horse that you like wins the race. There's nothing like it.
I don't think that. Look, there's no sentiment in betting. Just so you know.
Oh well. If he wins, if he chins John Bond, I won't be disgusted. Let's put it that way.
I will.
The Sefton is the race that sees out the Friday for Grade 1 action anyway, at the Aintree Grand National Festival, and it's an interesting race. Always is an interesting race. There's one that sort of pops up here, or it's a bit of it's an open race at least, and there's no difference this year. The Jukebox Man 6-1, topping the market. Dancing City 7, Celisori same price. Best Days Ahead 8-1, same price as Reading Tommy Wrong and Chanel Bob. 12-1, Bryce Days Ahead, but won't go here. Croke Park has been the money horse, 25s into 14s. Lecky Watson, the same price, 14s as well. Lee, you don't have too much of an opinion on this, so I'll go to Harry.
Look, Appleway obviously won the race last year. She was very good. And look, it's always worth getting the sponsor's main horse into the video, isn't it, lads? But look, the Jukebox Man, I mean, I've been a fan of this horse for so long. I put this horse up as an Albert Bartlett horse. And Ash, Lee, I don't know whether you were on the. It might have been a live or a video.
It was a good shout. I couldn't believe it at the time. I just thought, what is this going on about? But
and the weird thing was he was 33-1 actually at the time that I mentioned, and he was still, I mean, that price going into Cheltenham, and he got a freebie. Let's not get it wrong, he got a freebie out in front, but he ran an absolute blinder. And look, in my opinion, the worst thing that Keelan Woods could have done was slow the horse down. I mean, I know obviously Johnny Denis mentions
that is all hindsight though, isn't it? Like, if you had
how many Albert Bartlett runners up have you ridden, Harry? Hey,
how many horses?
Look, I'm just saying that if Keelan Woods had sent that thing flying, because he jumped beautifully the whole way around, and he just got chinned. He just got lonely out in front. Will he get a freebie out in front this time? I very much doubt so. But look, he's a very talented horse, and you can see why Ben Paulin's willing to get his revenge, because he looked sick as a pig when he got beat last time.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah, I went over to him afterwards, and I just sort of like I was very sheepish about it. I was like, Ben, you must be feeling pride.
Surprised you didn't get chinned. Like, what?
I know.
Yeah. Crazy.
Like, Ben, you must be feeling proud that your horse finished second here, but also you must be feeling absolutely disgusted. And he was like, "Yep, that's about the short of it. Yeah, for sure. The True Boss Man, good horse, but I'm taking him on with a big price one, and I don't know if he's running, so I wouldn't back him in at anti-post. I'd like to see the declaration stage come out. But if Django Bay goes here for Nicky Henderson, now I know I've been saying I want to see Nicky Henderson form, but I'm interested by this horse. I saw a stats sheet for this race, and it was like horses that either haven't run at Cheltenham but have run in March, or horses that have ran at Cheltenham but haven't won have got good records, horses that have won twice in the season have got good records, and horses stepping up in trip. And Django Bay fits that bill really, really nicely. You're second to Personal Ambition, giving way at Kelso last time out. Personal Ambition, I think, has got a great chance in whichever race he turns up at in Aintree. I think it's a 2.5 miler he's entered for. He's then second to Handstands at Huntston, again, giving way. Two nice Ben Pauling horses there, two really nice Ben Pauling horses, and he's giving way to them. Won the Form B. Now he's probably lucky that the Gordon Elliott horse fell, but again, he's sort of seen out the trip really nicely that day, and he's beaten Teller the Name at Ascot with the pair pulled a mile clear over 2 miles. He's got a pedigree which suggests that, stepping up to 3 miles really should suit him. I really think he's got a great chance if he does step up. He go far enough back, and I think he's got rated some decent horses. And I just think the way he's been seeing out his races, I think 3 miles in time would be best for him. Maybe 2.5 if he's entered for the 2.5 miler on soft ground could be his gig. But if he goes here, I'd give Django Bay a chance at 20-1. So one for declaration stage, but I'd probably see how he goes and see which race he gets declared to, because I think he could be interesting up in trip. Gentlemen, we'll roll on then to the Grade 1 Mersey Novices Hurdle. It's the first Grade 1 on the Saturday on Grand National Day on the weekend. Sets up for a really good day, this 2.5 miles. And we got confirmation earlier today as we record on Tuesday that Bryce Days Ahead is going to go for the race, 9-2. Topping the market for the mare there. Slade Steele is 9-2. Don't know which race he's going to yet, but he is declared for the 2 miler on the day 1, so you can assume he's going to go there. Or was it day 2? Day 2, sorry. Caldwell Potter 5-1. Billericay Dickey 7-1. Asian Master 10s. Firefox 10s. Ilantique 10s. Jimmy DeSoy 10s, and same price, about a couple here. The notable one at a price, Peaky Boy 14s for Nicky Henderson. Lee, is there anything in here that's sort of taking your eye out?
Yes. Look, I think Brighter Days Ahead. Look, I love her. She's almost the Jerry Colum of this year for me, and she's beautifully bred. If she does go here, I know she's down to declared, but it's not almost certain that she's going to run. But yeah, look, I'd be hard to sway away from her. And I think she's definitely a Grade 1 performer. I have taken a chance. Is this the race that Esprit de Party is in it, Ash?
Yes.
Yeah. Look, just one that's probably going to be overlooked just because, look, there's plenty of find on the ratings. But Lucinda Russell, like we discussed, has an absolute cracking record at Aintree. And I think around 33s, I'd take a chance each way on Esprit de Poitiers. Bolted up, I think it's run 3 times on heavy. It's bolted up every run, and I think it won by about 24 lengths or something at Newcastle the last day. Odds on, entitled to win it, but all of its runs that it's bolted up in, it's been heavy going, and you know, it might just get loose on the front end and you know, nick a place at that price. But yeah, look, there's plenty in at the top, and I think Brighter Days Ahead will have a great chance. Hopefully, she takes a chance so we can see what she's with. But Esprit de Party each way.
Brilliant stuff. Are you putting yourself down for one on the list, or should we sort of just keep you a bit open on the Mersey?
Oh, look, it's an open race, and stick us down for Esprit de Party each way. Yeah.
Nice. Harry, what do you fancy in this? It's an interesting race for sure. There's lots you can make cases for.
Look, in a day that we record where Winks' daughter sells for 10 million Australian dollars, well, we've got the most expensive national haunt horse that we're going to cover right now. I mean, Caldwell Potter, they'd be so disappointed if this horse doesn't run well. I mean, conditions look to be absolutely perfect for the horse. I mean, the step up and trip, I think all he did this time was stay. When Leopardstown, he beat obviously Predators Gold. I just think he's a very, very good horse. And look, the Nichols team, they're fighting for the championship. They've got to have a good week, or good weekend, I should say. And the only one I would say is, I did allude to Asian Master earlier on in the video. This horse goes, I think the step up and trip would suit him as well. All he did with Five Fox, those two together, they just stayed and stayed and stayed. I can't see him having a problem getting the trip. And yeah, those would be the two that I have. But preference would be with Caldwell Potter. I really want to see a good performance from him.
Yeah, I'm going to be with Caldwell Potter because I'd be sick if I wasn't with him in the horse one. I do love the horse a lot. I think it's brilliant that we got two progeny by Matney in the same race. Bryce Days Ahead and Caldwell Potter. You know, they're siblings as such. They half their half, it seems. And Marcel Line for Caldwell Potter and Capguard for Bryce Days Ahead. I will side with Caldwell Potter. I just think I've been waiting for this horse for a while. Look, I wouldn't be surprised if he loses. That's the thing. And I think 5-1, if you want to back each way, that's fine. Like, I wouldn't be surprised, but I've been really impressed with his season so far. Like, he's beaten by It's For Me at the start of the season, which is form that's worked out, I suppose, quite nicely. He's beaten by Stellar Story in a bumper as well, which again, form that's worked out nicely because he's gone on to win the Albert Bartlett since. Bolstered up at Nav, and I suppose when well priced too. And then I thought he's run really nicely at Leopardstown and won that Grade 1 Future Champions really well. Like Predators Gold, then got and ran at the Dublin Racing Festival and ran into Dancing City and ran well in that Grade 1. But the field, like, they just haven't handled the ground at all in behind. And I know that's a case of maybe sort of like, you know, you can look at that negatively, but also you can look at the fact that he has performed well on soft ground. He does like that soft ground nicely. I think the step up and trip will work for him. So I'd be with Caldwell Potter again. Bryce Days Ahead. God, she was surprised not to win, wasn't she? When she sent off 5-6 that Mare's Novice, she was surprised not to win. She surprised me. She surprised my wallet. I think she surprised your betting slips as well, Lee, that she didn't win the Mare's Novice. But I think she's still got a solid chance here. But you can't back two at the prices. That's the thing. You can't back two at those prices. So I'd be on the side of backing Caldwell Potter just about. Think just could be a bit more of a well-oiled machine. And at the each way price, I just say that Personal Ambition should like the ground. He's beaten Jinko Blue on soft ground before, and he slots into that Django Bay form line as well. So if he goes here 20-1, could be a nice each way play about him. So yeah, those are on screen. Caldwell Potter 2 votes and Esprit de Potier, big price 40-1 each way for Lee. Pop down on the sheet. The Liverpool Hurdle then is interesting race as such. Stairs Hurdle obviously sort of won last year by Cider Burley. God, that was it was a worrying watch for everyone, wasn't it? We saw Cider Burley looming up last year. Tiupu topping the market 11-4. Flooring Porter 4-1. Cider Burley, last year's winner, is the horse that's come in for money. 8's into 5-1. Irish Point is in there at 6-1, though he's been on the drift. Crambo 8-1. Strong leader 10s. Bigger the rest. Who fancies to go first? Lee.
Well, I'll just jump in and say I don't really have a strong fancy. Look, Tiupu, if he does run, and I'm unsure if he will, just because there's a short backup. He does like a break. He like the ground, but he does like a break. So look, he might be safe for punches down or something. I'm unsure. There's probably one at there at an each way price, but I'll have to probably see the final field on the day, and I'll take something each way. I think I'm not so keen on some of these older brigades coming from Cheltenham to go again to the well at their age. So I'll find one each way. But yeah, look, I would tread carefully in this type of race, maybe.
Yeah, for sure. Harry, what about you?
Yeah, strong leader, I think, is a good each way price in this. I think 10-1. He's ran really well in this over 2 miles last year when he finished behind in the pocket. I mean, if you watch the ride back, I mean, Sean Bowen got this horse flying, and it was like a rocket ship had been put up its arse, and it just flew home. It finished only a length behind in the pocket in the end. Who was a very, very good hurdler. Obviously turned to a very decent novice chaser. Strong leader since stepping up to 3 miles last time out. I think it's just going to do him the world of good. This will only be his second run over this trip. He'll get his ground that I think he'll like. And I just think that he's just coming into here that a little bit. I think people are a bit cautious because he was beaten by the likes of Noble Yates and Paisley Park. Well, those two ran brilliant races in the Cleve Hurdle, and it was a very good performance for a 7-year-old against the seasoned pros as such, you could say. And, I just think he's got some better credentials than maybe some of these in here. I'd say Botox Hassett, the rain keeps coming. He was very good at Haydock last time. He'd be another one I'd be keeping on side. But no, strong leader for me. Ollie Murphy's flying at the minute. He just can't seem to be doing much wrong, and he'll be giving Sean Bowen as much ammunition as he can have. Albeit he probably won't. He probably won't win it now. I think that the gap's at 12. But look,
there's plenty of time. Plenty of time for that. I think we're lucky at the minute because this Aintree meeting could decide a lot of stuff. The Jockey Championship, but we also have the trainers, and you've got Skelton leading Paul Nichols. But if Willie Mullins wins a national, he leapfrogs them both. So like, there's plenty of interesting different avenues as well, isn't there?
Yeah.
One horse I won't be backing in this though, Ash. One horse I won't be backing is Crambo. I think this horse has got absolutely no chance. I mean,
well,
I just think
strong.
I seriously don't think he's that good. I just don't. I think 8-1's an awful price.
Oh, say it quieter, Harry. Fergal can almost hear what I say in this house. I'm that close to him.
Look, Fergal's brilliant, but this game's about opinions, and we're all entitled to one.
Yep, for sure. And my opinion on this race is I'm taking 2 each way. First one is Buddy One. Love the horse. The one concern is the ground, because I think he would have run a lot better at Cheltenham if it wasn't for the ground. But he does handle it. Like, he's won twice on soft. He's ran in the Stayers Hurdle on soft ground as well. And I just think he'll come on for that massively. Like, that experience in Grade 1 company in that type of race, I think he'll come on for it massively. So I think this is a horse that's going places. And yeah, I fancy him each way. But the one I also fancy, I know Rob Corach got one at the top of the market, and look, he's very, very good. But I'm interested by Hidden Valley Lake. I really am, because look, he didn't handle the Bartlett last season, but Henry de Bromhead's come out and said that he thought that the run at Clonmel, what was the race now, and that Mercedes-Benz novice hurdle, he just thinks that it took a lot out of his horses that day. Monty Starr was won the race. He then disappointed in the Bartlett, I want to say. Hidden Valley Lake's disappointed in the Bartlett. Search for Glory has done the same. He's disappointed in the... did he run the Bartlett? He did run the Bartlett, disappointed, and then he sort of disappointed himself for Aintree as well. So I think it just took a lot out of them that day on heavy ground. But if you ignore the Bartlett completely, he's run a fair race, first time out over fences, but he's fell. And then he's taken a bit of time, but he's won nicely at Navan last time out, really, really nicely, beating the likes of Beacon Edge and De Capo Gloria. Maybe the form isn't great, but he's still done that nicely off a fair enough break. Before that, he's finished second to Monty Starr in that Mercedes-Benz hurdle. And then even his run at Cork in the Grade 3, like, he absolutely sloshed up that day, didn't he? Like, and he beat Cool Survivor, he beat Monbeg Park, he beat Let's Be Clear About It, he beat Silencia. That form is solid form, and he absolutely dotted it that day. I remember looking at that performance and going, that's a good horse. He loves soft conditions, and like, I think they've done a really good job in saving him for this race. So I give Hidden Valley Lake a chance to Rob Corach and de Bromhead. I think that'll go well.
Can I just say, me 2 that I wrote down were Strong Leader and Hidden Valley Lake, but I see the case of both of them. It's just it depends what goes on the day, and I really do think there's value to be had lower down, like these at the top of the market. I'm unsure if they're quite going to rock up. That's the problem.
Yeah, for sure. So we'll see how it goes, but that's what we sort of make of the race. And before then, gentlemen, we crack into the big one, the Grand National. We did catch up with Cam Sword before we recorded this video. So we're going to slot this interview in now to see what he fancies and sort of just catch up on Corach Rambler ahead of the Grand National. Absolute pleasure to be joined by Cam Sword of the Ramblers, obviously owners of Corach Rambler, this year's favourite going into the Grand National, last year's winner of the race. Cam, we're a couple of days out now. How are the nerves? How are the feelings?
Yeah, it's strange to be going back to National with a horse that's already won it, but like it's a special race. I mean, memories for a lifetime. So no, very privileged, and looking forward to it. Should be fun.
I suppose the first question really is, focusing on the horse as such. You've had the preparation in the Gold Cup, finished a very valiant third, really, really big performance there. And he is coming in sort of £3 well in. He was well in last year. How is he and how's the prep been since the Gold Cup in preparation for this?
Yeah, I think the Gold Cup was all positives, really. I think after that Betfair chase, it was a bit of a confidence boost knowing that he can compete at Grade 1 level, and he ran a monster race. Galloping Deschamps kind of proved how impressive he really is as a horse, and like it would have taken a bit out of him, but it was always the plan to go to the Gold Cup and then back to National, and like he's got an absolute engine on him. So with fingers crossed, he should be fine. Like the ground could do with drying up a little bit, but I'm sure everyone else would say the same. So fingers crossed that he's shown he can jump. He's shown he can jump the fences. He's got the stamina to stay, and he seems to love Aintree. So that's the main thing.
How important is the ground to this lad? Because there's a couple of people sort of maybe writing him off because of the ground wise, but I suppose it's the same heavy ground for everyone. So is it a case of it's maybe not ideal, but it's still going to be workable enough to give it a good go?
Yeah, I think even the way it's standing right now, it's never been a thought of not running him. 4-2 on this ground. Look, I'll be the first to say it's quite short, especially in a Grand National. But look, I think the extended trip with it being over 4 miles, it's different fences. There's going to be lots in there that have never ran over those fences. So hopefully, the fact that it's such a different race is going to put less emphasis on the ground. We do have a little bit of leeway with the ground, but yeah, I mean, if we could have it our way, it would be good to soft.
And you won last year. It pretty much came into the race at the last fence swinging and sort of went around the bend, and you were there. The only one staying on really was Vanillier, who looks like one of your sort of strongest rivals coming into this year. I suppose that must fill you with a lot of confidence that he's able to do that in a national. He's got course and distance form, and he can hopefully sort of come and repeat and do something very similar this year.
Yeah, and I think it shows the mentality of the jockeys, really. Derek Fox still says that he could have given Corach a better ride last year. He got to the front too soon, and look, from us standing and watching, it looked like a monster ride. But yeah, I think it's one of those. As long as he's kind of thereabouts turning for home, and that seems to be the line with Corach. As long as he's thereabouts, then we got every hope in him. He did idle last year. If he'd have just stayed on strong, he would have won by, God knows, 6, 7, 8 lengths or whatever. So I think it's maybe helped his mark a little bit. And but I mean, Vanillier, he would probably be up there again, just based off the fact that he can jump the fences, ran really strongly last year, and then obviously, like every year, you're going to have a few newcomers and a lot of unknowns. Something like Meeting of the Waters is quite interesting. Like, how's he going to take to the fences? It's one of those, you get a clearer picture after they've had a round of jumping.
What about?
Hi, Cam.
Sorry, I was going to say, what about the £13 high? I don't think it would have stopped him last year. Like you say, is looked like he jumped in, like Ash had mentioned, but it's just holding on to them. A lot changes at that elbow when you get to that elbow, and plenty of nationals have changed. But £13 higher wouldn't have stopped them last year, would it?
No, I think obviously you're always going to go up after you win the national. But we actually thought his mark would go kind of 5 or 6 after the Gold Cup. So if you view it from that point of view, he's still going to be well in. £3 obviously doesn't look as attractive on paper, but if he could run anything like that Gold Cup, and it's a difficult. I don't think it's going to make too much of a difference.
And Cam, I just want to touch on Derek Fox. I mean, if I'm right in saying this time last year, he couldn't ride many of Lucinda's horses because he was coming into Aintree with was it a broken shoulder or something along those lines? Just how important is Derek Fox to Corach?
Yeah, I think from a jockey's point of view, I think Derek Fox is so important to a horse like Corach. He's not the horse that any jockey could just get on and produce the same result. He knows the horse inside out. He knows exactly the way kind of he needs to ride it. And from Derek's point of view, he's won 2 nationals. He knows the course. He performs at the course, and he's never had it easy. He was injured before One for Arthur, before Corach the first time. So, and then we had a scare last week that he could have got banned after riding Clovis Boy at Newcastle. But no, he's mega important, and without Derek Fox, I don't think Corach would be any shorter than kind of a 10-1, 11-1 shot.
And the final one from me is, I'm going to go to you personally. Last year must have been one hell of a party. Are you going into this year with a superstition? You're not changing anything? Are you turning up to the track with the same shoes, the same socks? What is the plan for Cam Sword going into Saturday?
I don't have any superstitions or anything. I think one of the boys always wears the same suit with the same pants and has all the superstitions. I don't have any of that. And but like, I mean, just sitting here right now thinking about what could happen on Saturday is makes me very privileged. And look, we've spent 17 grand to get here. There's people that have spent hundreds of thousands that never get as close. So look, we're very, very lucky.
Just finally, I suppose, this horse, you said you spent 17 grand. He's made his debut as a 7-year-old. He's improved from sort of novice hurdling into winning novice chases and then going to win 2 Ultimas, running in a Gold Cup, winning a Grand National. He really is sort of the dream horse that any sort of standard owner or standard punter would love to own coming into horse racing. That's why we love the sport. How much this horse done for you and the lads? Because you're now fully invested in the sport. You've got your own syndicate. You're off the sales next week to try and buy horses. You might be sort of delving into the flat campaign as well as national hunt. So it's already come from this sort of one horse and what this horse has done for you. So how important is he to your life and I suppose your career going forward, and just how special is he really?
Yeah, I think I was saying earlier, it's a very cliche and cheesy line, but like Corach's changed my life. He's changed so many people's lives, from Lucinda and Skew becoming more recognised, getting these bigger owners in, to myself doing the whole syndicates. Look, I don't think I'd be sitting here if it wasn't for Corach Rambler, and at the end of the day, he's the one that's gone out and really done it all for us. I think when it comes to the Grand National, there's 34 horses are going to line up, and there's going to be 34 incredible stories, and I think that's what makes it so special. From Christian Williams to the story of Late Night Pass. I mean, look, we're all incredibly lucky to be here. There's so many amazing stories which really make this sport special. So no, we never forget how lucky we've been.
Definitely, yeah. Cam, we wish you the best of luck. We wish all the team and connections the best of luck, and fingers crossed we'll be celebrating 2 times Corach Rambler Grand National winner by Sunday or Monday morning. Best of luck, mate.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Cam, for that. Really, really good insight, and we wish you the best of luck with Corach Rambler. Gentlemen, the Grand National, the big race, the one we all wait for. And I'm going to make a caveat. We're going to go for 3 horses in the National, but we want it rapido because we could spend years and years on the National. So, but we'll just run through the market quickly, see what the market's saying. We're on Tuesday night now, so we're coming out Wednesday morning, but the market reads as we record, topping the market, Corach Rambler for the connections we just said there, 11-2. I Am Maximus, 8-1. He's the choice of Paul Townend, I believe. Meeting of the Waters. Is that Danny Mullins? I haven't got the jockeys on the racing post, but I think it's Danny Mullins taking the ride. Meeting of the Waters, 9-1. Vanillier, 9-1. Mr. Incredible, 12s. Kitty's Light, 14-1. He's likely to get a run because Conflate is not going to run here. Panda Boy, 14s. Marlon Mission, first run since the Coral Gold Cup, 16s. Limerick Lace, the choice of Mark Walsh, 20-1. Menelarindo, 20-1. Bigger about the rest. Harry, I'm going to come to you first of all. 1, 2, 3. What's your top 3 in the national in quick time?
My first place for this year's national will be Vanillier. I think his credentials speak for themselves. Second in the race last year, good prep run, and I think he's going to come into himself. I think he'll love the ground as long as he's not too far back. That's all I hope. Second place, I'm going to go with Menelarindo. I think this horse would have absolutely bolted up in the cross country had it not been abandoned. He's 20-1. He's an ex-Gold Cup winner. He brings the class form into the race, and I think he's got every chance of running well. And the other one is third place, that in my opinion, is Nasalam for Gary Moore. Now, this horse is his own enigma, really. If you watch the Jockey Club's recent TikTok or video, he's pretty mad. But every inch of rain they get, he will adore. So there's my 1, 2, 3. Vanillier first, and Menelarindo second, and Nasalam in third.
Thank you very much. You even gone to the trouble of telling us where they're going to finish. That's very, very good of you.
No, you
Lee,
keep it short and sweet, and that was to a T. That was to a T.
That was very good. Lee, your top 3 in the national, quick time. What do you fancy?
My 3 against the field are Vanillier as well. I think the visual of last year's run, I just can't get it out of my head. I think was just left too far back. And I think if he sits a bit handier, if he can get into a good rhythm, he's being trained to the minute for this race again. And I think off £4 higher, I think he'll run a cracking race. And the Cromwell team are in such great form this season. So I wish them well. But also links in Corach Rambler. I think he can run maybe third and into a place at least again. Cracking run the Gold Cup, stayed on well. I think he saves a bit for himself. He done it in the Ultima. He done it in the National. He's £13 higher now, but I think he can be running on at least and grab a place again. Whether he's a bit too high to win it remains to be seen. But I think Panda Boy has also got a huge chance. I'd probably slot him in second. Vanillier, Panda Boy, Corach Rambler if I had to pick an order. But Panda Boy, fifth in an Irish national behind I Am Maximus. The trainer, Martin Brazel, is a shrewd man. He's a great trainer. And he actually won the race in the past with number 6 Valverde in 2006. And this horse gets in off a really low weight and on a fair mark. And I think in conditions, he's on that low weight, which, might suit, and he's a fair jumper. So, yeah, look, Vanillier for me, Panda Boy, and Corach to at least fill the frame as well. So, good luck to Cam as well, who we just spoke to.
Yes, good luck to Cam and good luck to everyone's selections in the national. For me, Panda Boy, I agree with him. Featherweight, he's been calling to win a big race like this, and I think this is sort of his big time to win a big race. They ran him over hurdles at the Leopardstown Dublin Racing Festival, ran an absolute belter that day. Which he was clearly not going to win the race. So I think he's got a fantastic chance. Meeting of the Waters, though, same form lines, having won the Paddy Power when Panda Boy's in second. I just think this has been the plan for a while. I know they've changed up owners from Paul Burns, JP McManus, but I knew this was the plan for like a while, and then they've changed up owners, but it's still the same trainer and Willie Mullins, and they've probably just been working back from the national with this lad, and he's run a belter in the Ultima. So I think just numbers and wise, he seems to have a great chance Meeting of the Waters. But obviously the one, if you haven't followed anything I've been saying about the last 2 years, obviously the one that's going to win the 2024 Aintree Grand National is Wham Arch for Patrick and James Griffin. Look, this year, why am I backing him when he's finished 7th last year? Well, twofold, really. Last year, he had interrupted prep. He injured himself at Cheltenham in a cross-country race, I believe. It New Year's Day, or no, it wasn't New Year's Day. I think it was November time. Injured himself, got a bit of a bad cut, and they were working back from that. So rather than being full fitness and just maintaining it, it was more of they were building up fitness. This year they've had a perfect prep, won over in France, their listed race, then blew off the cobwebs on New Year's Day, and then ran a good race at Down Royal behind Adamantly Chosen in the Bluegrass. I think he's got a fantastic chance. And second of all, the ground massively went against him last year. Just went really quick. You could tell by the exchange price. He drifted out sort of 80s, 85s on the exchange last year. Ground went against him. It'll be soft ground this time out. This will be this will be perfect for him. Conditions will be perfect. We know he handles the track and the jumps. I think he's got a great chance. So those are the selections scrolling across the screen for the 1, 2, 3 of what we fancy in the national. Our full selections, I'm sure, for the race and the races will be up on Twitter. But these are what we think at this stage. And gentlemen, finally, we're head to the Grade 1 Maghull Novices Chase, which is the race after the national, 5 o'clock, and it's a 2-miler won by John Bond last year in an egg and spoon, but this year is a bit different. Has found a 50 tops the market 9-4. Ettel on the improving Dan and Harry Skelton horse 10-3. Hercule de Soy 6-1. Haven't seen him since October 2023. Batata 10-1. Nickelback the same price. Jello 12-1 for Venetia Williams. Lee, what do you fancy for this?
I can't remember what. I feel like Chris Kamara.
Well, I've got a name. I believe it says Hercule de Soy on my screen, but I could be wrong.
Hercule de Soy, yeah. Look, I'll do a cami there. Hercule de Soy even. I just think probably save for a spring campaign and put away. I'm unsure. I didn't hear anything of injuries and stuff like that, and I just think maybe he's just saved for these type of meetings, but it's not going to get this spring ground or anything like that, but has won on conditions before and comes in here fresh. So yeah, look, I'll take a chance. Willie Mullins in a weak Grade 1, that that I'll throw a dart at some at that price.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Sort of fair enough price for him, 6-1 there. Harry, you seem to like an improving horse in this, heading up into Grade 1 company.
Yeah, Ettalong, I think, is a very, very, very good horse. I think he's been improving all the way. Won a handicap chase off 120 and is now rated £22 higher. So he's clearly on the improve. I think 10-3 might be a little bit skinny, but he's not one that I'd want to be taking on in a hurry, especially like Lee, you said, in a pretty weak Grade 1. Ash, I'm going to just stick with me. I'm just going to bring, because I've got one good handicap bet of the week, and it is in the Saturday, and it's only one. Yeah, go on.
I was just going to say for Ettalong that the plan was always to go here, because I spoke to Nick Pierce who we had on our preview night. He's head lad there, Dan Skelton's, and he says they've got 55 entries across the 3 days. They're looking to run 10 per day at least, and they're throwing the kitchen sink at this championship. And Ettalong was always going to go to this Grade 1, so it's a positive note that his intention was to go to here. You've muted yourself.
I'm guessing you're muted, but I gathered what you were saying. No, my one handicap is actually another one of Skelton's, and it comes in the first on the Saturday. It's that William Hill handicap hurdle. Now, I was there when Gwenny May Boy won at Utoxeter. This horse has made it 2 from 2 for Dan Skelton, and he actually won in. I believe Dan Skelton had a treble within 3 races. One at Kempton when Boom Ball won, and Gwenny May Boy was the last leg of the treble. Now, this horse absolutely bolted in, and I mean bolted in. If this horse was rated 113, now off 126, there is certainly more improvement to come off that mark. West Balboa's in the race, but Lee, you mentioned they're going all hell's bells for this championship. I don't think they'd care if any one of them won. And I just think Gwenny May Boy has a massive chance on ground that this horse will definitely love. So yeah, that's my one handicap bet.
Nice. I see the case. Will he get in? I was questioning if he'd get in.
Look, he's off 126, but he's number 33. But it all comes down to what horses get declared, isn't it? And he'll be short. I think he'll be shorter than 12-1 anyway. For
sure. I'll sweep back to the Maghull. I fancy 2, and they're both against the field here. First one, Master Chewy. Thought he ran a good race in the Arkle, but just fell. And I thought he was sort of coming with a nice run that time as well, and fell at the second last, I believe. So that form was quite nice, and I think there could be a bit more to come from him. And he likes soft ground, so I just have a small play on him, but I'd be maybe sliding towards betting Quilixios for Henry de Bromhead. I think 12-1 is a big price about him. You have to go back for his form, but like he finished second to Tiupi on heavy ground as a hurdler. That was all the way back in December 21, but he's been sort of tenderly handled since. He's only ran the 5 times since. 2 of them being victories when he beat Cool Survivor, when he absolutely took the last fence with him and still beat Cool Survivor that day. And then one at Nason and Novice Chase beating Safer and Mr. Policeman. Mr. Policeman has since come out and won a grade 3. And Safer was always sort of fairly rated as a novice hurdler. He's then gone and finished 4th in the Grand Annual behind Unexpected Party when sent off Fav. So I say that form's quite nice. And he even ran a good race behind Facile Vega at the start of the season. So I think Corach Josh has got form stacking up nicely. And look, he was disappointing as such in the Arkle. Like, he really didn't run a race. But I don't know, like, we've always been a campaigner for giving horses a run, haven't we, Lee? And like, yeah. I'd say you can give him a run, like, just because he was coming back from a little bit of a break from that race at Nason. They were unsure if he was going to run. Am I right in saying they were sort of a bit unsure? He was a bit like behind, or they had a setback and they're unsure. But then he came back, and I can't remember if that's right or not. I might mix it out within the pocket. Either way, I think he'll just be a bit better. And I think, he's had no run in the Arkle, so he could just be a touch fresher as well than some of these in here. So I'll give Corach Josh a go, because I just think he's got form that means he could be just a lot better than what his price says at 12-1. Trying to write his name and spell his name correctly for the thing, but that's the Maghull there. Corach Josh haven't put the price in, but he is 12-1 on the screen or in our video here. Yes, that's the grade action covered, and we'll go into handicaps rapid style. Harry's already done his handicap fancy, so he's chalked that off the list for us. Lee, handicaps or anything else? What do you fancy?
I really like this Honky Tonk Highway in the bumper for the Skeletons. It actually beat this Diva Luna, and I think them two have got a cracking chance. You can take a chance, them two against Willie Mullins' Baby Kate. I did think she had a good chance in the champion bumper. She's been saying for this. They could have ran Aurora Vega, but they chanced this horse. But I like Honky Tonk Highway. I think she's got a solid each way price about her. She bolted up. I thought at Sandown, the margin doesn't suggest it, but they were a long way clear. They were strung out like washing. It was a listed race, first time on Rules debut, and she also beat this Diva Luna, who in a point-to-point, and that point-to-point form is working out really well. That was a 3 mile on heavy. She'll handle conditions. I think she will go close. I really like Animix as well in the Fox Hunters on Thursday. Patrick Mullins takes the ride. It's halved in price now, sadly, but it was the only choice of Patrick's in Willie's. It's ran the top and went 3rd behind Mac Totty. Handles the fences, handles the ground. It bolted up the last day by 10 lengths. It's got good form as well. It actually beat the Fox Hunters hero Billaway from a few years ago. Beat that horse and also beat Ferns Lock in the process. And it was graded back in the day as well, graded form class. So got the form, bolted up last time, likes the conditions. Patrick Mullins, Willie Mullins, I think they'll go close Animix on Thursday. And I really like this Mustachio as well of the McNeils. Look, they've been having a good campaign, and I was speaking to Ella when she was up at Newcastle there for the over the finals day, and yeah, look, I'm really keen on this Mustachio. It's been saved for the race, but I know it's a horse you like, Ash. So look, sell the case. So come on.
Yeah, that's the William Hill handicap hurdle, 2.5 miler. They won the novice hurdle and they went Sefton bound. They literally went here we go to the Sefton, and the handicapper's done an absolute job and left this horse on 129. Yeah. Absolutely incredible. Second to Jinko Blue at Newbury when giving £6 away. Jinko Blue's now rated 140. Beat Email Andy that day, who was in 3rd. He's rated 129. So on that pure form, Masaccio should be at least mid 130s, if not talking 140s now. He even a good race in the graded bumper at Aintree last season, and also beat the Bat on debut, who's since finished second to Dice like Enos at Cheltenham when giving weight away to her. So I think Masaccio's chucked in that race. I'll give a shout to Katira as well. Just like 2 plays, 14-1, 12-1 Katira. Good run off a long break last time out. Second in the grade 1 with Irish Point, Hermes Allen. Let's be clear about it. You wear it well last season at Aintree. We'll definitely come on for it, but Masaccio's chucked in that race. Absolutely chucked in. Fox Hunters, Animix, agree completely for everything Lee said there. Mayor's Bumper, Honky Tonk Highway, agree for everything
Yes,
that Lee said
come
there
on.
as well. But just at a big price, La Marquise for Jamie Snowden, 33-1. She gets the allowances of being a 4-year-old. And Jamie Snowden loves this horse, really, really loves this horse. She's got an interesting pedigree as well, which I would dive into, but we haven't got the time for it. But she's very interesting. She gets the allowances. She's very good. La Marquise, but I agree with Lee with the Mayor's Bumper. Topham, Frero Bamboo, give a shout to Venetia Williams, was third in the Sefton over the national fence at the start of the season. Beat Naslam that day, who's improved £20, and he's running in the national. Was running in that race off 133 or 134 in that. Now running off 131, which is the lowest mark for 3 years. Was second to Kando Kid off 133, is now £13 better. Third in the December Gold Cup off 136. Second to Shake 'em Up Harry on New Year's Day at Cheltenham, who's now £9 better and was running £4 at the handicap that day as well. Gets a swing of £18 with Shake 'em Up Harry from that run on New Year's Day. I think he's got a great chance at the weights is Frero Bamboo. And the other one I wanted to mention in the bumper, My Great Mate, Willie Mullins, 12-1. This is the boys bumper on the Saturday. After Astro Diamond, Mullins knows the family really well. Also comes from the family of Kel Esprit, who won the Irish Gold Cup a couple of years back and won a 2.5 mile graded race and won a bumper as well for Mullins. 12-1. She's got a great pedigree behind him, and I think he should have a great chance. Was there anything else I wanted to mention going down my list? No. My nap will be, I'd almost say Masaccio in that handicap hurdle. Really, really fancy it. Really fancy it. I know I also fancy Katira to run a good race as well, but I believe nap material will be Masaccio. Harry, you've been quiet for a while. Do you have a nap?
John Bon, Melling Chase. I think he's a class pot.
Lovely. Lee?
Look, if you're going for the shorties, I like John Bon and Jerry and Sergino. I think they're fair players. But yeah, Mustachio was going to be my best handicap. I'll take Animix and we can have a nice trade double.
Music to my ears. Yeah, I fancy an Animix as well. Really fancy Animix as well. Yeah, like I just say, I fancy more in the handicaps and the other races than the graded races. The graded races are tough, which is what we want to see. Really what we want to see. We want to see competitive races, but graded races are tough. And I think the handicaps, there's some angles into it for sure. But I'm not in the greatest form at the moment, so that could all go in the bin very, very soon. Anyway, if you did enjoy, please do like, subscribe. That's all we've got time for. Our first video back from Cheltenham will be upping the regularity of these videos, going in now into the end of season jumps at Sandown and Scottish Grand National next weekend as well. And you've got the likes of the Guineas coming up. Yeah, Punchestown, Guineas is coming up. I'm going to start getting excited about Tony Carroll runners soon. That's a lie. I get excited about them all year round. So if you did enjoy, please do like and subscribe. What do you fancy for the National? What's your 1, 2, 3 for the National? Get that down in the comments down below. Follow us all on Twitter. Our Twitters are on screen now. And we'll be doing, I'm sure we're doing giveaways and spaces and all that jazz. So
we're doing Saturday live this week for the National, aren't we?
Yes, 10:30 a.m. Yeah. Join us on Twitter, the usual. Harry will be hosting, so hopefully he's not hungover anyway from the Friday. That's
no. I've not been for a while actually. I've not been for a while. I'm gonna bet over 1.5. Over 1.5 guests or co-hosts will be hungover on Saturday morning. But no, it should be a belter.
We're maturing. We're not first years anymore, Harry. We're third years. We're maturing in life. We're more of a glass.
Lee's the one that's always hanging. Lee's the one that's hanging. Lee's the one that's hanging. But no, it's been good to be back, lads. Good to be back, and thanks everyone for watching. It's good to be back after a break, and I hope you all enjoyed it because we have.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you to Cam for coming on. Make sure to tune in, and we wish you the best of luck for the national meeting. If you're having a bet, please do gamble responsibly. But until we see you next time, we'll see you very, very soon.